Elevate fam, my name is Rebecca Lima, but most people call me Becca. I'm a freshman here at SWO this year, and I am an education major. A couple of fun facts about me is that number one, I like to sing. I really love making music with my friends. Number two, I work in the SLAD department this year for SWO, so the Spiritual Life and Development. If you ever want to come by our office in Findlay, you're more than welcome to, whether it's to pray, chat, or eat a snack. We'd love to have you. Number three, I am both Portuguese and Brazilian, so I am really looking forward to the World Cup this year. I think it's going to be really cool. I hope you guys are too. And to best summarize myself, I would say that I have been a Christian for a couple of years now, but I really dedicated my life fully to God and received a new life in Him about 2 years ago. And it's been the best decision ever. So I wanted to talk to you briefly about a time in my life where I felt very disappointed, and I was just in a season of, or rather I should say, in a season of emptiness and of waiting. And this specifically happened in the beginning of 2021. I had just gone back to school after being on online school for about 7 months before that. It was a long time, and so I was finally so happy to be back, to be with my friends, to be on the chapel worship team again. I felt so good. And all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, after I'd gotten back, I remember it was early February, I got sick with COVID. And I was so disappointed, and even worse, it took a lot out of me symptom-wise. And I have asthma, so it definitely affected that a lot. And so it took me a while to recuperate from that. But just when my quarantine was about to be over, the snowstorm hit. You probably remember it very well back in February last year. And it totally, I was very frustrated because I had been back at school for a couple of weeks. I was doing so well. I felt so much better, and especially compared to being in online school for the months before. And now I was back to where I was. And God used this time where I just felt alone and honestly kind of empty and very disappointed. He used this time to teach me to depend on Him for that fulfillment I was looking for in other people. And not only that, but He taught me that He does provide. Sorry about that. He taught me that He does provide. And more specifically, it was during that time, actually, ironically, really, that when I was feeling alone and when I was feeling empty, that I actually met the Spaces youth group. It's a youth group in Dallas at Canyon Creek Project. I met them, and through an online Friday Vespers they were doing because of the snowstorm. And the Friday after I came out of quarantine, I went there because I wanted to check it out after seeing them online. And from that Friday onwards, I have been a worship volunteer there, and Canyon Creek Project has really become my home. I was speechless at how ironic it was that in a time of in a season of emptiness where I felt really disappointed, I met one of the most amazing groups of people I've ever met, of God-fearing people who really took me in and who really mentored me and helped disciple me and helped me grow in my faith with Jesus. And I tell you this story to say that it's in these seasons of emptiness and in these seasons of disappointment where God still wants to reassure us that there's more to the story, that the story is far from over. And I think relating back to the empty tomb on Sunday morning, those women came there and they were filled with awe. They were joyful that it was empty, and that's really puzzling to me. But as I look back now, I realize that it was because they knew that there was more to the story still. They knew that God was not finished yet, that the death they had witnessed on Friday, being a whole day without their best friend, being a whole day without their best friend, and then Sunday morning going to see him not even there, they were reminded that the story was not over yet, that God's plan had not come to a stop, that in fact, in many ways, it was just beginning. And I guess that's the same for me in my relationship with Jesus. He's taught me to depend on him, and that even in seasons of emptiness, not only to seek him in those seasons, but to know that the story isn't over. I mean, as followers of Jesus, as disciples of Jesus, even in the face of death, we know that the story is far from over, just like as in the story of the empty tomb. So if you're feeling discouraged today, or maybe you're in a season where you are disappointed, where you are facing something more severe than what I went through. Obviously, our world is very shattered, very torn apart right now. Know that God's plan for you is not finished, and that there is always more to the story. Even in the face of loss, we know there is more to the story. My name is Rebecca, and when I see the empty tomb, I'm filled with hope because I know there's more to the story.